Rory McIlroy has just broken his silence, and it's as fiery as the gesture that rocked the Ryder Cup. Bethpage Black has turned from golf into chaos, boos, slurs, and a stadium chorus of "You, Rory," until he finally snapped, firing back with one defiant middle finger. Now, as Backlash erupts, Rory's explanation is clear. Is it disrespect or survival against a feral crowd? Stick around. The drama erupted on Saturday when Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry stormed into their four-ball match against Justin Thomas and Cameron Young. But instead of applause, Rory was met with venom. From the first tee, the Bethpage crowd was relentless.
Fuck you, Rory!
Oh, come on.
Come on, man!
Seriously.
Synchronized chants of "Fuck you, Rory" echoed like a stadium taunt, shaking the air every time he lined up a shot. Still, he played on, stacking birdies, draining putts, pretending to ignore the abuse, until the moment Lowry clinched victory on the 11th green. Cameras caught McIlroy glance back at the jeering masses and, with the sharp precision of a dagger, lift his left hand. The middle finger flashed only briefly, but that was enough. The crowd gasped, the internet clipped it, and within minutes, was trending worldwide. Some called it vulgar, others called it heroic. Either way, Rory's gesture wasn't just an insult, it was a line in the sand, a warning shot fired straight into the heart of the American mob. Before we unpack this chaos further, hit that like button, because what Rory just did may go down as one of the wildest Ryder Cup moments ever caught on camera.
There were three really popular words. They were "F you, Rory," comments about his family, comments about Shane Lowry's weight,
You ain't moving!
comments about rumors that you hear about Rory McIlroy, Pinehurst, Bryson. A lot of it is stuff that I can't say on camera, but just know that they took it over the line today.
By Saturday, the atmosphere had spiraled from rowdy to feral. The first tee grandstand had already turned into a drunken drumline, complete with failed MC chants and endless abuse aimed directly at McIlroy. It wasn't witty banter or playful trash talk, it was venom disguised as patriotism. Fans screamed during his backswing, hurled personal insults about his private life, and drowned out European cheers with choreographed profanity. Security presence doubled, but with nearly 50,000 fans pressed against the ropes, chaos reigned. Lowry, acting more like a bodyguard than a partner, even lunged toward hecklers on the 10th tee after one stepped far over the line. It was golf at its ugliest, a battlefield of jeers, threats, and distractions designed not to support Team USA, but to sabotage Europe's stars. And yet, through the noise, McIlroy pushed on, eyes fixed on the horizon, jaw tight with fury. By the 17th green, after hours of absorbing abuse, he snapped again, this time screaming, "Fuck you," back at the crowd with a raw, primal force. It wasn't polished, it wasn't diplomatic, but it was real. The message was clear. He wasn't afraid to fight fire with fire. The finger may have lasted seconds, but the backlash erupted for days. American pundits pounced, branding McIlroy classless and immature, with Barstool Sports even calling for his ejection. Social media trolls dissected the clip frame by frame, demanding apologies as if they'd never seen an athlete pushed to their breaking point. But the outrage was selective, conveniently forgetting the mob-like behavior of USA fans who orchestrated chants, screamed mid-swing, and turned the Ryder Cup into a hostile circus. European voices were quick to point out the hypocrisy. Why were Americans celebrating their own hecklers while condemning Rory for fighting back? The debate wasn't just about one raised finger, it was about fan culture itself. How far is too far? Do athletes have to silently endure abuse in the name of entertainment? Rory's defenders argued he did what any human would do, snap under hours of coordinated torment. The middle finger wasn't petulance, it was honesty. And for every critic branding him a villain, there were thousands who saw a man refusing to bow to bullies. The Ryder Cup had officially crossed from golf into gladiator theater, and Rory stood as both target and torchbearer.
I think Rory's looking at the referee now, just asking people to settle down.
Saturday afternoon felt less like golf and more like a siege. Every hole became a haunted house of hecklers, each corner hiding fresh jeers for McIlroy. Organizers scrambled, planting New York State troopers on tee boxes, but the crowd had already tasted blood. They weren't cheering for Team USA. They were engineering Rory's downfall, weaponizing timing to shout during his backswing, waiting for silence only to rupture it with venom. And still, Rory didn't crumble. Instead, he shifted tactics. On the first tee, he blew the mob a sarcastic kiss, mocking their efforts with a smirk. The boos only grew louder. On the 16th, after yet another perfectly timed distraction, his patience broke. "Shut the f*** up," he roared, voice carrying across the fairway, captured live for the world to hear. For once, the chaos wasn't faceless. The players pushed back. Shane Lowry nearly broke through security lines after another outburst, his fury barely contained. Europe wasn't just battling America's 12 golfers, they were battling 50,000 drunk, chanting saboteurs. The Ryder Cup, once sold as golf's most prestigious event, had devolved into a tribal war zone, with Rory McIlroy standing at its burning center. Let me throw this to you. Was Rory out of line, or was this the only way to fight back against a feral crowd? Drop A if you think he crossed the line, or A if you think it was legendary. When the dust finally settled on Saturday night, Rory McIlroy stepped in front of the microphones and shattered the silence. His voice was calm, but the words cut like glass. "I don't mind the banter. That's what makes the Ryder Cup special. But when fans scream in your backswing, that's not passion, that's disrespect." Then came the dagger. The finger? Heat of the moment. But after what I heard all day, yeah, I'd do it again. It was the perfect blend of honesty and defiance. No empty apology, no pandering to critics, just a raw admission that he'd been pushed past human limits. He described hearing endless "Q Rory" chants, slurs about his family, even digs at his career setbacks. And while officials stood by, doing little, he and Lowry were left to police their own match. Rory's candor shifted the conversation. No longer the villain, he became the victim who refused to be bullied. European fans applauded his courage, while even neutral commentators admitted the abuse had crossed the line. By bearing his frustration, McIlroy turned scandal into solidarity, galvanizing Team Europe around his defiance. The middle finger may have been the flashpoint, but the real story was bigger. Europe versus the mob. Bethpage didn't just host a golf event, it unleashed a cultural collision. American fans weaponized patriotism into profanity, transforming a Ryder Cup into a gladiator pit. Cups were thrown, chants were orchestrated, and 5 fans were reportedly ejected. And yet, the European team refused to cower. Rory's gestures, Lowry's near confrontations, even Tommy Fleetwood's icy stares, all became symbols of resistance. This was no longer about fairways and greens. It was about dignity under siege. And Europe, despite everything, dominated. The scoreboard turned blue, the chants grew desperate, and by Sunday, victory belonged to Rory and his teammates. Still, the poison lingers. Captains called for calm, pundits demanded reforms, and Robert McIntyre's description of feral behavior stuck like a scar. For many, this Ryder Cup proved golf isn't immune to the ugly side of sports tribalism. But for Rory McIlroy, it also proved something else. He isn't just a golfer, he's a fighter. And when pushed too far, he'll flip more than a scorecard. And that's the fallout from golf's biggest middle finger. But now it's your turn. Did Rory just embarrass the sport, or did he save it from becoming a clown show? Drop your take below. Smash that like button if you think this Ryder Cup will be remembered forever, and subscribe so you don't miss the next sports meltdown.